Hello, my name is Hunter Perrin, and I'm the author of Svelte Material UI. And today I'm going to be teaching you how to install and use Svelte Material UI in SvelteKit. In this video, I'm going to go over how to install Svelte Material UI in your SvelteKit app, how to add additional SMUI components, and how to add a dark mode and switch between the light and dark mode in your Svelte Material UI, or in your SvelteKit app. What you'll need is Node.js and either NPM or Yarn, and a SvelteKit app. All right. So, just to show you how I've set this up, all I did was run the install command from the SvelteKit website. I chose Skeleton Project with TypeScript. You don't have to install TypeScript, but SMUI itself is written in TypeScript, so it gives you the best experience. I have added prettier for code formatting, and that's it. So I'm going to do npm npm install, and then npm run dev to bring up the app. And if I refresh, there it is, the bare skeleton project for SvelteKit. Essentially, I'm going to be walking through these instructions here, the Svelte Material UI, these instructions, the SvelteKit instructions. So first thing we'll need to do is install a SMUI component. So I'm just going to use the button component. You can use whichever component you like. So let's open a new terminal and run the command to install the button component. In addition, we will need this SMUI theme component. So I'm going to copy that and install that one as well. So now that theme component has a template command that will build a theme template for you. This right here is the target of that command. So we're building an SMUI theme in the source/theme directory. Now we need to add the build scripts. So this right here is the script that will compile my SMUI theme. So if I run that script, it shows you what it's doing. It's compiling this CSS for SMUI into this file right here, static/smui.css. So if I concatenate this file, you'll see it's just raw compressed CSS, or minified CSS, I mean. So now I'm going to take that script and I'm going to put that script inside my package.json. So in a new script at the end of my list of scripts, I'm going to add this SMUI theme. Now I would be able to run npm run smui-theme, and that will compile my theme into a CSS file. So now in a prepare script, I'm going to run this script right here. So that's the same as the install instructions. You have a prepare script that just runs this script. The next step is in my app.html, I need to actually include those scripts. So down here, just above this %svelte.head%, we're going to paste in. So I'm not actually going to use the Material Icons font, so I'm just going to include Roboto and Roboto Mono. So let's paste those in. And then I'm going to include the SMUI styles. So one thing you'll notice in SvelteKit, everything that goes in your static directory here, actually you don't have to include the /static part, it just goes into the root directory. So smui.css is available at just /smui.css. So now the last part here is the Vite config that we'll need. So in our svelte.config.js, under kit, you'll need to, under the config object and the kit object underneath that, you'll need to create a new object called Vite, and underneath that, a new object called SSR, and underneath that, a new object called noExternal, or a new array, I should say, of noExternal. And then these regexes right here are what go into that part. Basically, what these regexes do is they will match any package that begins with @material/ or @SMUI/ or @SMUI-extra/. Basically, so any material or SMUI package will be matched by these. And what we're telling Vite to do is compile the ES modules inside those packages, as well as the Svelte files. If you don't include that, you'll see an error, something along the lines of unknown file extension .svelte for, and then a list where your SMUI packages are installed. So we've already run npm, or we've already built the SMUI files. That's just what this is for, and then we're going to have to run npm run dev again. So we'll cancel this and then run it again. And if we go back to our app, we'll see nothing has changed because we haven't actually added anything. So now let's actually add something. Let me add in index.svelte, script lang equals ts. We're going to import button from @SMUI/button. Sorry, Prettier just moved everything around. And then we're going to create a button and say on click equals alert. It worked. Click me. All right, and now when we go back to the page, there we go. We have our SMUI button. So now if I click it, it worked. All right. We can add, if we want to see the other color, so that is the primary color, and if we want to see the other color, we can do color equals secondary. And now we've got two buttons, one primary color and one secondary color. But now let's go ahead and customize those colors. So what we want to do is open up our, in the theme directory, we want to open up _SMUI-theme.scss. And what we'll see is the colors that are defined here are the colors from the Svelte Material UI demo website. So instead of using these colors, let's go ahead and pick one from the material design color palette. So if we go to this right here, materialui.co/colors is a great site that just shows you all of the material UI color palette colors. And if we go into the theming entry on Svelte Material UI, down here under the theme variables, it shows you a link to the color palette. That's where we're going to grab these colors from. This is part of the upstream MDC web packages, which are the @material/ packages. That's what SMUI is built on. So if we go back to here, we can see we're already importing that as color palette because it's used as the error color here, the red 900. So let's pick a couple new colors out of here. Let's go with indigo. So we'll go indigo 400. So as our primary color, we're going to do color palette, dot $indigo-400. And then for our secondary color, let's go with blue-gray. Blue-gray 400. So color palette, I did it again. Blue-gray 400. Now, you'll notice if I go and refresh right now, you won't see the colors. And that's because when this CSS file was built, these were the colors that were defined. So we're going to need to rebuild our CSS file. So if we go back to our terminal and we run npm run prepare, that'll run the SMUI theme compile script, and that will recompile our CSS. Now if we go back to the app and we refresh the page, we'll see our new colors, our indigo primary color and our blue-gray secondary color. So now let's add a new, sorry, I hit the mic. Now let's add a new component. So instead of having this boring old page with no introduction to it other than this header object, let's add a top app bar. I love top app bars. So first we're going to install the top app bar. This command right here will show you how to install the top app bar. So we're going to run that command, and that'll install top app bar. And then right here we're going to use this standard one. So we're going to expand the examples, and the first one here is standard. So let's go ahead and just copy all of this. We're going to copy that whole thing, including the imports. And then we'll go to VS Codium, and we will under our routes, let's create a new file, __ layout. Whoops. And that will apply this to every page within our SvelteKit app. So let's paste that there. And one thing I've immediately noticed is that let's get rid of this lorem ipsum thing, and instead we're going to put our slot right there. And one thing I've immediately noticed is that the icon button we haven't imported yet. So if we try and build this, we're going to get failed to resolve import. So we'll need to add this icon button as well. So let's go ahead and install the icon button as a dev dependency. And now if we restart, we should see our top app bar. The icons won't work because I didn't include the icon. But we do see our top app bar, but it looks wrong. Why does it look wrong? It looks wrong because when the CSS file was compiled, this component wasn't installed. And the CSS file, the SMUI theme compiler, will only compile CSS for the components that are installed. So whenever you install a new component, you're going to have to recompile your CSS. So let's run our npm run prepare again. That'll recompile our CSS, and then we can refresh, and now we have our top app bar. But I do notice there's some padding on our HTML component, so or HTML element, or maybe it's the body element. I don't know. So let's go to our app.html and let's add a style to get rid of that. So HTML and body, we're just going to do padding 0 and margin 0. And now if we refresh, our top app bar looks correct. But our icons don't. So I'm not a fan of those font icons, so I'm going to show you how to use material design icons. This is a project that's available in the package at mdi/js. So we're going to go ahead and install that. And now we can import icons from mdi.js. So in our layout, let's import, we're going to import the MDI menu icon from at mdi/js. And one thing we'll also need to do is whenever we use these, because these are SVG based icons, we're also going to need to import the SVG component from @SMUI/common/elements. So now this component right here is what we're going to build our icon with. So we can get rid of all these classes since we're not using font-based icons. And now in the icon button demo on Svelte Material UI website, there is a using SVGs demo. And we're just going to steal the code right from there. This icon component SVG view box equals blah, blah, blah. And the path entry right there, the path entry, that's what we want to modify. So MDI menu is going to go right there. Oh, we haven't imported icon. So icon is an import from icon button. It's also an import from @SMUI/common if you want to import icon from there. And it's because that icon is the same icon that's used by a number of components. So we're just going to import it from there. And we didn't even need to refresh. It was already working. So if you have a drawer, you can use this button to toggle your drawer. I don't have a drawer, but button's there anyway. So now let's go ahead and go over creating a dark theme. So when we created our template, our theme template, inside that theme folder, there was another folder called dark. And inside that folder is another SMUI theme script. And that script has its own set of colors. So I'm just going to copy our primary and secondary colors from our light theme and paste them into our dark theme. And instead of going with 400 for each of them, since 400 is pretty light, let's go to the 800. So we're going to go indigo 800 and blue-gray 800. Those are two nice dark colors. So now we've got light and dark, but we haven't built the dark theme yet. So we're going to go back to package.json, and in the installation instructions, it does include basically these scripts that I'm about to add here, but I'm going to show you adding them manually. So we're going to call this one SMUI theme light, and we're going to create a new script called SMUI theme dark, and that's going to create SMUI-dark.css, and it's going to create it from the folder source theme dark. And now in our prepare script, we need to run both the light compile and the dark compile. And now if we run npm run prepare again, it will create the light theme and the dark theme. And then back in our installation instructions, we have a separate set of CSS imports for including dark theme. So I'll paste that in, and then I'll go over here and I'll refresh. And because my computer is set to dark mode, we see dark mode right away with our nice dark primary and secondary colors. But now if you want to switch dark mode, if you want to switch between light mode and dark mode, that gets a little more complicated. So let's take this out of app.html because it'll be easier to manage if we do it from within Svelte. So I'm going to cut this out of app.html and move it over to layout.svelte. And inside here, we're just going to add a svelte:head component. And now this will get placed in the head of our app. So if we go over here and we refresh, we'll see nothing changed. That's because that's placed in the head of our app by this component. So now let's create a new Boolean called dark theme. which it can be a Boolean if the user is chosen, or it could be undefined. So since we don't know what the user has chosen yet, we'll set it to undefined. And then in here, we need to add an if statement. So if dark theme is undefined, whoops, if it's undefined, then triple equals. If dark theme is undefined, then we'll use those. Else, if dark theme is true, else if dark theme, then we'd want to include just this one. But actually, so the reason that this media query starts with screen and is because if someone's printing out one of your pages, you don't want to have them print the dark theme. That's going to waste a lot of ink. So instead, what we're going to do is if they have dark theme selected, we're going to include the light theme as the default. And then only if they're viewing it on a screen are we going to show them the dark theme. And otherwise, if they've picked light theme, we're just going to print out light theme. So now if we go ahead and refresh the page, nothing changed. Now we need to add a button. That's why I saved one of the buttons over here. We're going to add that button to switch between light theme and dark theme. So let's get rid of this ARIA label. And this button here, we're going to use a different icon. Instead, we're going to use these weather icons. MDI.js includes these nice weather sunny with a nice little sun. So if dark theme is selected, we're going to show weather sunny to show them you can change to light theme, or we're going to pick weather night. So with those two icons, this button can toggle between them. But now, on this button's click, we're going to set dark theme equals not dark theme. And now we should be able to toggle between them. So if I click this button, we can toggle between them, but you'll notice the first time I clicked, it didn't do anything. And that's because dark theme is undefined right here. We don't know what dark theme should be, so it's undefined. And there is something to match a media query from JavaScript. It's window.matchMedia right here. But in SvelteKit, when you're running on the server for server-side rendering, window is not available. So what we're going to do is import onMount from Svelte. And then in an onMount function, now that we know the entire DOM is set up and we're running in the browser, we can actually do window.matchMedia. So we're going to set dark theme equal to window.matchMedia, and then we're just going to copy this prefers color scheme dark. And now, when we refresh the page, we will see that it's prompting us if we want to go to light theme. So now we can click and it'll toggle between the two. And one thing you'd want to do is add like a title for especially blind users, but certainly it would be helpful to any user. If the user has dark theme enabled, then our title could be like lights on, and then if dark theme is not enabled, our title could be lights off. And now if I hover over, I'll see lights on, hover over in light mode, and I see lights off. So now that you have dark theme, I'll leave it up to you how you'd want to save that. You could save it in local storage, you could push it up to a server, you could save it in a cookie. However you want to save that will be up to you. But that covers everything. So now we've got a Svelte Material UI app using SvelteKit that supports dark mode. So that's all, and thank you for watching. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at SciActive. That is the name of my company, and that is where I will publish information about SMUI and any other cool things I am working on. Thank you for watching. Like the video if it was helpful. Share it if you know any other devs who are getting into Svelte and want to know how to set up a Svelte Material UI app in SvelteKit. Take care.